Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 27th Fit Tech Tips on Microsoft PowerPoint. My name is Tyler Klipchuk. I am your host here today. Our special guest, Matt Skriner, Marketing Coordinator here at Fit Technologies, is going to be taking us on some tips and tricks for Microsoft PowerPoint and how you can best utilize that in your day-to-day. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started. I will be posting in the Q&A chat a link to download a working file that Matt will be using in the course of today's presentation. You also should have received this file via Microsoft Teams about an hour ago from the presentation itself. If you didn't, here's another place to get it. Second thing I'll be posting is the feedback link, depending on after we give today's presentation. We'd love to hear from you on what you think. And with that, I will go ahead and hand off the show to Mr. Matt Skriner. Matt?
Thanks so much, Tyler. I'm going to take over here and share my screen. And hopefully you all should be seeing kind of the familiar back end of PowerPoint, just kind of when you're in there editing slideshows. So this is mostly the view we're going to be looking at today, so you can follow me around. Hopefully you see my big giant pink cursor. It's easy to see for everybody, hopefully. So the first thing we want to look at is something called the master slide or the slide master. It's not the most flashy feature in PowerPoint, but I think it's really important if you want to keep your presentations consistent and quote unquote on brand, especially if multiple people at your organization are creating PowerPoints and you want everyone to kind of work from the same templates. So if you can see that GIF going there, shows you how to get to the slide master. You just click on view up here, and right here is slide master. And then this shows on the left-hand side, you can see all the different templates that I've made that we use here at Fit, just different colors of these circles, and the footers are there, and the fonts all set. And then there's even some other kinds of styles for title slides and other different slides like that. And this is super helpful, like I said, to keep things consistent, and you can just kind of have this as a template for people to use. And it also makes it very easy to change text on a lot of slides. So I already have a bunch of slides built out in PowerPoint, but if I wanted to change the font all at once, I just click on this top level slide over here and just change the font like you would normally. We'll change it to something that looks way different. And then if you go back to slide master here in the top left and click close master view, and now you can see all the slides, those headlines changed their font all at once. So super easy way to stay organized on a lot of slides, and to change things really helps cut down on errors and really simplifies your workflow. So I don't really like this font, so I'm just going to go back and change it to what it was before, and then we'll get rolling to another feature. And we want tenor right. Oh, and one more thing quickly here about the master slide. If you want to insert a new one, this is just up here in the top left, and you're going to click insert layout. We'll put one under this top level master slide. So put insert layout, and then you can go ahead and start editing. So I usually just copy and paste over from other slides that I already have. So if I want that same footer, you just copy paste, it'll go in the same spot. And then to see where these slides actually are when you're back in the normal view, when you go to new slide and click the little drop down, it'll show you all of the different slide options you've made under your master slide so that you can select them. They'll pop right in and they'll be ready to roll. So it really makes things a lot easier if you create a presentation that you really like and want to use it moving forward. That's what I've found is the best way to do that. Next, we're going to talk about working with multimedia. Nobody wants to watch a presentation that's just all words and text. And thankfully, PowerPoint has literally hundreds of different things you can use straight from PowerPoint. So you don't have to worry about copyright or the quality of things. It's all pretty high quality, the stuff that they include. And I will note that I think you have to be a Microsoft 365 subscriber to really take advantage of all these items. But to see what's available, if you click Insert here on the top left, most people know how to click pictures and click from this device, and then you can grab a picture that you have on your local computer. But if you click Stock Images, that will bring up a whole host of options. You have images, you have icons, you have cutout people, so these don't have a background. You have stickers, which are basically just think of these as pictures. You can't really edit these too much. You have videos, you have illustrations, which are similar to icons, but they're a lot more complicated usually. And then cartoon people are kind of an in-between between icons and illustrations, and that you can edit them a little bit. But they're kind of what you see is what you get a little bit, but you can change the colors on some things. So my favorites are usually icons. So because they're super clean and you can edit them pretty well. I'll insert a few of them here just so we can see the different kinds of things we can do. I just selected these three real quickly. You click insert on the bottom right, they'll pop in and they'll basically pop in at the same size. So you can drag and drop to resize them a little bit and then just kind of show what we have. And then if you select one and then graphics format up here usually auto selects. But if it doesn't, you can click graphics format, and this allows you to change the colors of things. You can change, you can give them an outline if you wish. So, if you want to match your brand colors, that's the way to do that. And you can also do drop shadows, things like that, if you want to give your icons a little more depth. So those are some of my favorites. And also one thing that is also very fun, I haven't found too much of a use for in my everyday job, but they're just really cool, is these 3D models. If you click 3D models and then again, stock 3D models, they'll bring up and they have all of these 3D, some of them are animated, some of them are not. But I'll insert an animated one here. I always like the T-Rex, and it'll take a little bit to download. But it'll insert, and you have this little T-Rexes walking around, and you can spin them in 3D space. So really pretty cool that you might not think that PowerPoint has built in, but if you can find a use for a T-Rex, I say definitely go for it, because who doesn't like a T-Rex in their PowerPoint? So next we'll move on to organizing your items on a page. So PowerPoints can get pretty complicated as soon as you start putting in a few different items. So let's just take this as a quick and easy little example. We have 5 icons of some animals here, just kind of in a pile. And let's say we want to have them spaced evenly across. So you could just drag and drop them and use these little pop-up red guidelines. And it really isn't terrible, but it gets a little tedious. So there's a better way. If you wanted to set them horizontally to distribute, first you want to take where you want to set like the leftmost icon and where you want to set the rightmost icon. And then if you select all the items, I just hold down Shift and then click on each item. Then again, you can, sometimes it's at home or you can go into graphics format as well. You want to look for this button that says Align. If you click that, you get a ton of options. Align selected objects should be selected when you select a bunch of objects at once. And if you click Distribute horizontally, that will automatically put the same amount of space in between each icon. And then if you want to further kind of align them, if you click Align Middle or Align Top, Align Bottom, that will orient these items to each other in a vertical space. So I usually do Align Middle, boop, brings them all together. So now you have a nice even spread of these icons. I find myself using this a lot if we have slides that are, introducing a team of people in like an all-staff meeting or something like that, and you have a lot of headshots on a page, and you're trying to balance them out and figure out how you want to arrange them. That's a good way to do that pretty quickly and to ensure that things are nice and even and neat. So the next feature we're going to go to is one that I love and use all the time, but I find that a lot of people don't know about it very often. Is called convert to shape. So this icon here was included in PowerPoint. Just searched for apple tree and put it in. Um, and if I wanted to change colors, I would just click on graphics format up here and click graphics fill. And let's say I want these to be red apples. And great, it would change the apples. But I kind of just got lucky that Microsoft decided that that's what I wanted to um, edit on this icon. So say if you wanted to edit the trunk or these little trees or the bushes, or you wanted some red apples and some green apples, you're not really able to do it. But you can kind of split this icon into a bunch of little pieces and parts. So if you right click on it, you can find this option here, convert to shape. And you'll see in the background here how it's just one box right now. When you click convert to shape, it will put a bunch of tiny little boxes around all the different items in the icon. So you can now click individually on each one of these apples, and we can make this apple purple. If there were such a thing as purple apples, they'd probably be very delicious. So you can change that one to purple. You can change these other ones to different colors, a black apple. And then you can even go in here and change these different trees to different colors. So this again, if you want to, is very helpful. We use it a lot when we want icons to kind of be on brand with our fit color palette. You're able to customize the icons that are built in here to PowerPoint to really suit your needs and make everything look clean. You don't have to go hunting on Google and searching for random pictures that might not be super high quality or might not fit exactly your color schemes for your organization. So again, this convert to shape feature is really helpful when you want to edit icons that PowerPoint has included. Next, we're going to go to merge shapes. This is a super fun tool that really you can be really creative with and do a lot of different things. This little chart up here shows kind of the different things that merge shape does. I still find it easier just to really kind of trial and error it to see what they do. So let me show you what I mean. Here on the right, we have this circle and this square. So if you select both of them, again, click on shape format, which is where a lot of these things are going to be. And then over here on the left-hand side, you're going to click merge shapes, and then it has 5 different options under it. And if you hover over it, you don't even need to click. If you notice on the slide down there, it'll show you what would happen if you clicked. So union just basically puts the 2 shapes together and makes them one shape. Combine basically puts kind of cuts out that little area where they overlap and makes it one shape. Fragment makes all the little overlapping pieces kind of their own thing. Intersect only keeps the part of the shapes that are intersecting, and then subtract basically takes away any parts that are touching. So it's a little unintuitive. That's why I say kind of just trial and error is kind of the best way to go about this. But it can do some really powerful things, I find, when you combine it with text. So let's get rid of this circle, and we'll take this text over here that says beach. We'll drag it over this square. We'll have that selected, and we'll select the square in the background. And then again, we'll go to merge shapes. And you see the different things that happen when you select the different merge shape options. So I almost always am using combine. So you put it together and it makes this cool graphic, and then you can do the same sort of things you do with any shape. You can change the color, you can outline things, you can add drop shadows, you can really customize it from there to make it cool. Let's choose a more, let's get rid of the outline. Let's choose a more beachy color, like a choose like a light blue. That looks like a beachy color. And then you can even do some fun things where, since this area here where the white is, it's cut out, it's transparent. Then we have this video that we found in PowerPoint. You can lay it behind there to kind of create a cool effect where the beach is showing through and it's not, and it's showing through the cutout area. And it's covered up. And then if you wanted to put a couple bullet points in this colored area for talking about what's cool about a beach, you could do that. And then you can also even skip the shape and just combine the text and the video to do a similar effect as well, but something that's also a little cooler, I think. So you just overlap the text and the video, select them both. Sometimes merge shapes can get a little finicky if you select the objects in different orders, so that can be a little annoying sometimes. So you have to kind of watch out, and again, trial and error to see what works. Um, and I usually like to go up to the search bar, and I recently used merge shape, so it's right there. But if you forget where anything is in PowerPoint, but you remember what it's called, this search bar at the top is super helpful because you can type it in and it'll pop up. So that'll help you get things quickly. But if you again go to merge shapes, go to combine, it'll do that, or it will basically cut the letters out. But in this case, if you do intersect, it will cut that video out in the text, and it will still play, still click the play button. And hopefully you guys can see that through the share screen, but you see the water rippling back there. So you can kind of make some cool headers that are kind of animated and have video on them, but you don't have a video taking up the entire screen. So merge shapes really let you do some kind of really cool things. Next, we're going to move to animations and transitions. With the limited time we have, we're not going to walk through all the different animations or transitions and how to use that, really, because I want to spend a lot of time on one particular transition next that I think will take the place of a lot of other animations and transition. But I do have a couple kind of best practice tips for people when they're using animations. The first and biggest one is really just to keep it simple. You can do a lot of crazy things and have stuff flying in and spinning around and bouncing around. But ultimately, that can be a little more distracting from your content than just having simple fades in or stuff pushing in very gently from the left or the top or something like that. So I would save the more dramatic kind of transitions and animations. Maybe if you have a slideshow playing on a TV at an event, at your space or at another space, and it's just it's something that people just have on in the background, then sure, go nuts with your transitions and have fun. But if it's a presentation, you want to keep the focus kind of on the content. You're really trying to get across a lot of information. You might want to keep the animations and transitions a lot more simple. And kind of going along with that is consistency. You want to use maybe only two or three types of transitions or animations throughout your presentation. Keep them pretty consistent. And if you do want to switch it up, I would save those for if you're doing a big change kind of in topic or in feel of what items you're talking about. Just kind of let people know, like, okay, here's a larger transition. Here's a more dramatic animation we're doing. It means kind of change your brain a little bit. We're moving on to a different topic. And timing is the other thing. In animations and transitions, it can, if you're someone who needs to have a presentation very on time and hit specific marks at 5 minutes and 7 minutes, you can set those all up in the animation and transitions. The animation pane, if you click animation up here at the top, and then animation pane here on the right, all these, then that really groups all the different animations you have in a page, and it really lets you do all different kinds of effects like timings, how you start the animations, and all things like that. So the animation page is your friend if you really have a slide that has a lot of animations. But the one that's really exciting that I want to get to that I think will, if you get really proficient at what's called the morph transition, I think you're going to really end up not using animations and transitions a whole lot on their own, besides this morph transition, because it can do really a lot of things all at once that I used to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do in just the animations tab or the transitions tab on their own. So this is just a quick step-by-step of how you actually use the morph transition. So you basically have a slide and then that you want to animate. So you duplicate that slide, you move, resize, or change any of the elements that you want to animate, and you put them where you want them to be and how you want them to appear at the end of the animation. And then on that duplicated slide, you select it, and then you go to the transitions tab up at the top and you click morph, which usually every time I've seen it, it's right here, the first one. I think Microsoft wants people to use it more, so they put it here right at the front. I know it sounds very confusing, but I'll show you all real quick how easy it is to get started with it. So I think it'll make more sense when you see this in practice. So here's a fun little map. We have all our animal friends from a couple slides ago, kind of have them where they live, hopefully. I did this very quickly. Haven't taken biology class in a while, but I think that's pretty accurate. So you'll notice you'll have a little text here off to the side of the slide. It's not really on the slide, but that's for a good reason. So I'm gonna hopefully do a slide, play the slideshow from this slide and show you what the morph transition I have set up already will do. So I think you all should be seeing this slide. It's the map with all the different animal icons on it over some different continents and areas. So if you advance the next slide, it's going to look more, it's not going to look so much like a going to another slide, but it's going to just kind of do a bunch of animations at once. So here we go. And it's going to zoom in on that bear. So it's going to change its color. Text came in from the left side and it zoomed in on the map, but this map also became a little more transparent. So you're focusing on that bear. And then if yada, yada, talk about the bear, go to the next slide, and we have that zooming back out to where we just were. The icons fade in very nicely. And then going to the next slide, we're going to zoom in on the koala bear down there. Again, the map faded out in the back. This text came in from the right side. I have some fun facts there about koalas that I didn't know until this week when I was creating this PowerPoint. So how did we do that? We can show you real quick. So if you notice on this slide, or on the back, we're back on the back end here of the slides. And this white box represents what you see on the slide. So you see this original map drawing, I basically zoomed it out or zoomed it in, however you want to say it. I made it really huge so that most of it is off of the slide. And so that when it chooses to go to the next slide, it's just going to zoom in on the part that's showing on the slide, which is Australia, where koala bears, or not koala bears, sorry, koalas live. So let me walk you through how to make another one real quick. So this slide 13 down here, we have it back to our original setup. So this is the slide we want to animate. So we're going to Control C and then Control V to copy and paste it to basically make a duplicate of the slide. So first thing we're going to want to do is zoom in on this map. Oh, I need to unlock it. I have it locked, which was a feature that is also fun to talk about, but I don't know if we're going to have time for that today. The selection pane basically shows everything that's here on your slide and names it. You can hide things or lock them, but we'll skip that for now. So we're going to zoom in on, let's say we want to zoom in on the dolphin. So let's change this picture's transparency here so we can see the slide behind us a little easier. And we're just going to zoom in on the ocean part where we think dolphins live. And we're just going to zoom in, keep zooming, keep stretching this picture. It gets a little finicky when you have big images, but it'll work out in the end for us. So we're going to do that. And then the biggest thing to remember about morph is that the stuff that's off the slide is really kind of almost as important as the stuff that's on the slide. So where we want to end up, we don't want any of these animals there. So we can move them off and they'll go flying off the slide, as you'll see in a second. And we want to make the dolphin bigger. And let's say we want to change the color to help emphasize it a little more. We'll make it, let's go with like no, that will fade in. We'll do a purple, another purple dolphin. And then we need some text. So I'll just go grab this text box from over here so it's the same size. We'll put it here and we'll do the simplest fun fact I can think of. Dolphins swim quickly. If I could type today. Dolphins swim quickly. And we'll put it right there next to the dolphin. And we want to match the color of that dolphin. So here's another quick little tool. You can just grab it from using the eyedropper tool. If you click, oh, I was going to change it. Yeah, change the font. So we want to change the font color, grab the eyedropper tool, hover over the dolphin, click it. Now that dolphin is the same color as the text. And then the one thing to remember, everything that's on this slide where you want to end up has to be also on the previous slide that you duplicated. So that's a little difficult to sometimes wrap your head around at first. So I just copy and pasted back onto the previous slide. We want this one to fly in from the bottom. So we'll put it down here off the slide. And hopefully, oh, make sure that morph is selected on this transition. It is. So hopefully we did it right. We'll go all the way back to the koala one just to make sure. Um, Play from current slide. So go to the next one. It should zoom out, which is good. That's what we wanted. And then hopefully the next one will zoom in on the dolphin. It will zoom in on the map. And then the purple text will also fly in from the bottom. Let's see. Hey, it worked. That's pretty great. So in my experience, trying to do that with individual animations in the animation tab would have been a huge pain. It would have taken forever. It would have been really finicky. I probably would have cried and stopped trying to do it. But in this case, it was pretty simple. Did it there in a minute or two. Um, so yeah, it can be really fun. Um, and there's really a ton of ways you can use Morph. It really is limited just by what you can think up. If you download the working PowerPoint that we sent over, hopefully you all received, in the notes mode, in the notes sections of these slides, I have a lot of additional resources for these tools to some YouTube videos or some help pages. So it can give you a lot of other ideas, especially for Morph. You can do some really cool things like you can animate text. It's great for flow diagrams where you can kind of move along a flow diagram, but don't have to have the whole thing on your screen all the time at once. And you can highlight product details I've seen car companies use it to zoom in on different areas of a car and things of that nature and have text fly in. So you can do a lot of crazy things that are really smooth and really can make your presentations not feel so much like a bunch of disjointed slides kind of just stitched together. It can kind of make your presentations really feel a bit more cohesive, like you're looking at one big presentation that's just moving around and doing different smoother things. So honestly, I could spend pretty much an entire presentation on the cool things you can do in Morph. And maybe if you join us again in 2025 and give us some feedback, if that's what you want to see, maybe we'll do that next year. But I want to be mindful of everyone's time. We're running up pretty close here to the 12:30 mark. So I think we'll wrap things up with the Q&A. If we had any questions come in, Tyler, if you want to let us know how it went.
Thank you very much, Matt. Few questions here that I can ask while you're still sharing your screen. Again, though, we are running up on the time limit. Question number one. Is there any way to change the shape of a picture or video that I've inserted?
You can. I will show you that real quickly. So let's just go back to this slide because we have some room. So let's just insert a picture real quick. We'll click insert up here, pictures, we'll go to stock images. We'll grab this picture of some toothbrushes. Sure, that's innocuous enough. So if you click on it and select it, and if you're in picture format, again at the top tab, if you go over here to the crop sections, if you just click crop, you can do the normal kind of cropping of just moving the sides in and out. But if you click the drop down, you get a lot more options, and crop to shape is a very fun one. And you can choose any of these shapes that are included in PowerPoint, and you can click it. I'll click this sun, and it'll basically just crop the image to that shape. And then from there, you can resize it if you need to, and you can do all sorts of things. And this also works on video too, that they have included. So yeah, but you can do it to your heart's content and use all those different shapes. And then you can't even edit if they have, like you notice this has a yellow circle here. Not all the shapes have those, but if they do, you can click it and hold down and drag it. It'll change a little bit even further how that shape looks. So that's the easiest way. Yeah, again, that tool is called crop to shape. Click crop up here, and if you forget about it or forget where exactly it is, you can also use the search bar and click crop, and it'll show it up there as well.
Awesome, thank you. One more question we have here. So you showed quickly changing multiple image sizes together. Can you just demonstrate if you have two images of different sizes, how can you get them to the same size?
Sure. This works for, yeah, for images, icons, whatever you want to do. So we'll just do it here. We'll have I'll make these all different shapes or different sizes. So there's a few different ways. You can either, again, do the manual kind of drag and drop where you can line them up, um, grab a corner and drag it until you see those four crosses. The cross of the four arrows basically means that the dolphin and the monkey there are the same shape. So that's one way to do it. But there's also a more specific way that you can. So if I select this icon here, go over to graphics format, this right here on the right side, the height and width will show you the exact size of that item. So this is 1.45 inches. If you click, it'll go up by 0.1 inch increments. So you can set it there. So say we want to set that at 2.2, and then we know we want this to be the same height. We can just click on that, and you can even, and I think you can do this in multiple icons at once, I think, maybe. Let's see, so it's 2.2 inches. If you select both of them, go up here, hit height 2.2, resize them both, and there you go, they're the same size. And one thing to note is it does matter where this bounding box is. So as you notice, it's not exactly on the top of this bear. So if you want it to be at the top of the bear, you'd have to crop it to move that bounding box right to the top of the bear. But that's getting into really nitty gritty stuff. But that is, if you want to be very specific about your sizes, that's how you would how you do that.
Excellent, thank you.
No problem.
Those are all the questions I'm seeing. So I think we can just say thank you, Matt, very much for sharing with us today. Everyone, thank you for attending today's Tech Tips. Once more to say that in the Q&A section, you will see a note to the working file link if you want to download that to play with it yourself, as well as the feedback form if you want to tell us how we did today. With that, Matt, any final notes before we sign off?
I don't think so. Again, we really appreciate if you fill out the feedback form, and there's also a spot to ask kind of any additional questions in there if you want anything answered. And we will try and reply to all those if you have a specific question. So feel free to ask us anything in those feedback forms. We appreciate it.
And with that, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.